Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. It's summertime. You know what that means. The heat is going to melt you into a puddle of desperate humanity every time you step outside. Well, I guess depending on where you live, you know, there are places less hot. But at least where I am, that's the vibe. But there are positives that come with that. You can go to the beach, you know, go to a pool. You can run inside to air conditioning. And you can also wear fresh fragrances again without having the cold wind just whip it away the second you spray it on. So that's what we're doing today. My top 10 designer fragrances for summer 2026. But a couple quick mentions really quick before the official top 10. First, this guy right here. So this is Mugler Cologne Fly Away. You can find it, roughly 50, 60 bucks nowadays. It has an ultra simple note breakdown. I complain about this all the time, 3-note note breakdowns. This one has 2. And those 2 notes are grapefruit and weed. Yeah. In reality, it comes across smelling like a realistic grapefruit. So it's gonna have a real tartness to it, a bite when you spray it on. And I'll just say, fragrances like Light Blue Forever, if you thought that one had too much of that kind of realistic citrus note going on, you're not gonna like this because it's even more so down that path. But I really love having that different take on citrus in my rotation, and so this is one I like to bust out from time to time. Wanted to give that a quick mention. And the next fragrance for a quick mention, Arashi Reef, which this is my own fragrance. I creatively directed this one, and during its first run, it has already sold out. So I wanna thank every single one of you guys out there who bought this, who supported me. There's more bottles in production as we speak, but as of right this moment, this is sold out. Although I'm sure you could probably find somewhere that has some in stock. They are in stores and Perfumania and fragrance outlets all across the country, and I'm gonna give away a bottle of this in today's video as well a little bit later on. But this is like a tropical beach getaway type of scent. It's got passion fruit, it has tangerine, papaya blossom, big attention grabber. Women absolutely love this stuff, but because it's my own, I can't put it in the top 10, I'm biased. So down here with the mentions. All right, official top 10, here we go. This one first, Azzaro, The Most Wanted Intense. Now I know a lot of people would see this one and think it's more spring or fall potentially, but I think it's spring, summer, and fall. The reason I have this in my top 10 is it gives me something a little bit different. So it's gonna smell similar to stuff like YSL Myself Eau de Parfum, you know, right in that wheelhouse, that kind of anytime, anywhere versatility, that compliment factor, all of that. This has it, but has more of a focus on this sweetened lavender as the real star of the show. Officially also has moss liquor as a note, which I know when you look at that, you're like, summertime, I don't know, man. Oh, hell no! But this stuff works, and it works really well. Daytime or evening, either one, so number 10. Only issue I have with this one really at this point is the atomizer sucks. This is legitimately one of the worst atomizers in the game. Azzaro, you gotta quit with the crappy atomizers. Number 9, Prada L'Homme Low. So with this one, I'm throwing it back a little bit, because Prada L'Homme, that line, you know, it's kind of past its heyday. At this point, when it comes to Prada, they're focused on Paradigm and some Luna Rossa fragrances from time to time, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, they haven't made a new one of these in a while, but you can still find it, so, you know, getting still good. And this one is really simple when you think about it. It's basically just take the original Prada L'Homme and summarize it. And not summarize, but make it better for summer. Because you could technically say Prada L'Homme, but summarize it. And then you go, okay, it's a fragrance with iris that's kind of powdery and classy and fresh. No, that's, you gave me a summary. I meant make it good for when it's hot. So this basically is that, only it is freshened up even more, and it doesn't hit you with quite as thick of a powder as the original Prada L'Homme does. That being said, it does not have amazing performance, so keep that in mind. Doesn't bother me, because frankly, if it did have really big performance with the type of scent that it is, it'd probably come across a little bit bad, but as it is, works really well. Very classy stuff. Number 8, gonna go with Terre d'Hermès Eau Givre. Now this one is gonna throw it back a little bit to what I was talking about over here with this Mugler. It has a citron note, so a little bit of a different citrus vibe off the top, but it has that sort of zestiness to it. You know, it's not as sweet as some other citrus notes can be. Instead, it hits you with a zing, with a little bit of a tartness, with that freshness. Then as it dries down, it really cleaned, stripped back woodiness. To me, versatility, fantastic. You can wear this stuff in classy situations, casual situations, doesn't matter, office safe. I really love what they did with it, although it does kind of suck that basically by this coming out, you know, they had to kill off Eau Très Fraîche, which is this one right here. Basically, this used to be the summertime Terre d'Hermès fragrance, and when they decided they were gonna do a new one, they were like, oh, we don't need this one anymore. I'm not gonna throw it. So that's the only drawback. Outside of that, this stuff rules. Number 7, Invictus Parfum. Rabanne has slowly won me over to the dark side. And by that, I mean not hating Invictus. Yeah, because I was a certified hater when it first came out. Certified hater. The original one, the tacky bottle, the overly bubblegummy sweet kind of vibe, at least at the time, really didn't like it. But as time has gone on and they've come out with new iterations of that style, and they've also taken, you know, Invictus Victory and Victory Elixir and all of those a different direction, I've come around. And Invictus Parfum, to me, you know, middle of summer, a little bit more of an evening scent. You can pull it off during the day really easily, but it has a little more density to it than some of the other ones we're gonna talk about here. And so during a summer evening, it would work really well. And it pulls double duty. Like some of these I've talked about over here, you can wear it very easily just to go to the grocery store or something, or to work. But if you had a situation where you're going out with a group and you wanna be a little more put together, this would work extremely well there too. It still has that sweetness that Invictus is known for, but the bubble gum is not ramped up as high. It's pulled in a little bit. And then alongside that bubble gum, you're gonna have a nice soapy clean aspect as well. Not powdery soapy, just clean soapy. Has great performance also, so you don't have to reapply, you don't have to worry about the projection or anything like that. So it has a whole lot going for it. And if I were leaning just full on like the freshest one, I would go for Invictus Aqua, but I wanted this one because it gives me a little something different. Because I have some coming up that are fresh, citrusy, all of that stuff. I wanted something that had a little more of that potential evening lean to it without going, you know, very vanilla forward. Because it'd be pretty easy to bust out some fragrances for nighttime that are, you know, vanilla, toffee, caramel, chestnut, stuff like that. But I think at that point, you get away from, you know, being a summer fragrance, right? You can still absolutely wear fragrances that people think of as spring, fall, or even winter during the summer. You just have to understand how those perform off your skin, where you're going, what you're doing, how many sprays to do. But with this list, we're keeping it strictly summertime based. Number 6, just outside the top 5, Paradise Garden. Now this is what I was thinking about. I was struggling with a little bit because I've always really gravitated towards wearing this during the spring. That being said, you know, late spring into summer, especially around here, temperature's still really hot. So, you know, it's not like there's some massive difference here between spring and summer where you're like, oh, it's a 30-degree temperature swing. Fahrenheit. Celsius 30-degree swing. That's even bigger. Nice. But yeah, I was thinking, you know, the original Le Beau, that one's really good during summer. Le Beau Le Parfum, maybe Flower Edition, not massive on the new Narcisse a whole lot. I'm gonna give it some more wear this summer, but you know, so far. But really, when I was boiling it down, I was like, the one I kind of lean more towards right now is this one. I do love the little green aspect that it gives me because a lot of these scents here during summer, green is not as prominent. You get that a lot more in spring fragrances, obviously, because everything is springing back to life, right? But in summer, a lot of times everything leans blue or silver. And so I was like, I gotta get a little something in there, has a little green aspect to it, which this one does. Also has fig in there, which smells great. It's got that sweetness from the coconut, that tropical kind of vibe that those first 4, really the first 3, but the first 4 Le Beau fragrances are known for. I say the first 3 mainly because after they hit Flower Edition and Narcisse, like, you could maybe argue that there's like some of that still in there, but it moved a little bit in a different direction. Now, if I were getting one strictly for evening use in summer, I'd go Le Beau Le Parfum. I think the way that one works when the sun goes down is just lights out. But to give me a little more usability, going with that. All right, guys, before number 5, a whole bunch of different discount codes. You can use these across a bunch of different fragrance discounters. So we're talking Fragflex, JOMASHOP, Gift Express, Fragrance Lord, and more. They're down in the description. You can just copy and paste them anytime you shop at those stores. Also on your screen right now. One thing to keep in mind, the JOMASHOP codes only work within the JOMASHOP app, and they change every quarter. So if those codes have changed, you can check out a new video and see what the new ones are. All right, we're in the top 5. Number 5 is Eros Energy. I've already mentioned this a couple times. I really like citrus, especially when it's a big focal point in the opening, which is pretty much always where citrus is gonna be, but still, not too many people out there going like, oh man, have you smelled this fragrance? Now it opens up to a big old blast of wood, but don't you worry, 5 hours in, it is all citrus. That doesn't really exist. Now, back to Eros Energy, as I said, citrus. There's a bunch. I mean, take a look at the note breakdown. It looks like they basically took every single type of citrus that they could cohesively put in here, and they did. Basically, like the perfumer got the brief from Versace and it said, you know, citrus, we want citrus in there as a focal point. And they asked them, so exactly what kinds of citrus were you thinking? And the response back was, yes. But how much really are you talking about here? Yes. And that focus on citrus did make some people shy away from this one initially and just not really vibe with it. It also has some similarities to Aventus cologne when you first spray it on as well. So like a citrusy Aventus cologne, kind of. Almost like, you know, Mont Blanc Explorer is like a designer take on the original Aventus. Now all that said, none of that bothered me. I love this stuff in the middle of summer. Actually, this is one of the ones that I was wearing most as it started to heat up. Kind of went on a bender for a few days there where I just had it on my desk and it was like grab spray, go, grab spray, go. It's always worked for me extremely well. I love this stuff. The only reason it's not higher is because I've gotten in new things lately that I want to wear when it's really hot outside, and so it's kind of pushed it down. So number 4, gonna be this, Polo 67 Extreme. Realistically, I'm probably gonna have to get a bigger bottle of this. It's hard to put massive dents into the bottles because lots of stuff all around me. It's almost like a Disney nightmare scene in an old animated film or something. I'm surrounded by like 8 to 9 foot tall shelves on all sides. And it's just fragrances all around me. Like you could see them just something like that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It's hard to put a dent into a lot of bottles, but I've put a little one into this one. And one of the reasons that it is so noticeable is because the bottle is very small. And that's because I bought this one from Europe, and the only size they had available when I purchased this was this size. And now I can find it more easily. It just looks so stupid every time I bust this out, and it's like, check this one out, guys. All the other bottles looking normal, looking standard, and then I'm just like Crocodile Dundee, you know, and he pulls out the big knife, and this is the small knife. Now, all that aside, Polo 67 works. Spring, summer, doesn't really matter which one. You can rock with the original, with the Eau de Parfum, or this one. They all work. The opening here smells fantastic. We're talking citrus, bergamot, lemon mixed together with pineapple. Some aromatic notes in there, solar notes as well. It's a great fragrance, frankly, year round. But summertime, this can be a jack of all trades. As I was talking about with this, just grab, spray, go. Top 3, number 3. The new Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum Intense. I will admit that with Acqua di Gio flankers over the past, 5 years at least, probably longer, have been very hit or miss. There have been some Acqua di Gio flankers that come out, and when you smell them, you're like, oh yeah, I could wear this all the time. And then there are other ones that come out and you go, why does this exist? This stuff sucks. It is very feast or famine. I'll say that. There have been some abominations against God and man released in the Acqua di Gio lineup, which is saying something because that's such a big line that you would think everyone would be trying to like make sure that they dial that in to be just the most pristine release possible, and they will put out some stuff where you're just like, to be fair, kind of the same thing with Dior, you know, Dior Sauvage, massive. And then they drop Sauvage Eau Forte and everybody just scratches their head and thinks to themselves, there are some psychopaths over there. I don't know what they're doing. Back to this. It is sweet, a little bit of a sweeter Acqua di Gio overall. Similarities to Acqua di Gio Absolute, which was discontinued back in the day. Apple, citrus, aquatic notes, woods, pretty simple note breakdown overall. I will say for the name, you know, having intense in there, you would think, beast mode, right? Just the stuff is gonna project like a monster, at least for a fresh fragrance anyway. really doesn't. It's more normal, which is fine for me because most summer fragrances, to be fair, are gonna be like that. But it is something where if you read this Eau de Parfum Intense, you may think it's gonna be Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum as it exists, just made more powerful, and instead it's something completely different. Number 2, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. This is the Eau de Parfum. I'll tell you guys, the original Light Blue, I was not always the biggest fan of that. Absolutely a monster release as far as popularity, but I didn't wear it a whole heck of a lot. This one though, I do like a lot. A lot. Note breakdown wise, you're looking at a pretty standard aquatic aromatic breakdown. It's got a bunch of citrus, 3 different types. It has aquatic notes, of course. Juniper, cypress, patchouli, cedar, and broxen. So again, kind of like a standard note breakdown, but it's just pulled off really, really well. It's gonna give you better performance than a bunch of the other ones up here. And it has a nice modern sweetness off the top. You know, a little slight push in that direction, which helps it feel more contemporary compared to the original. And number 1 for me is gonna be Y Iced Cologne Yves Saint Laurent. This stuff is crazy minty when you first spray it on. A lot of mint. It's brisk, it's refreshing, it's cooling to the point that when you spray it on your skin, it almost feels cold there for a second. It still has that fresh meets sweet kind of combination that YSLY is known for. If you do dislike the green openings, again, mint, then this one probably is not gonna be for you, and it'd be safer getting something like Y Eau de Toilette, which also works really well during summer. But this stuff, I'm a big fan of. I think it smells awesome. All right, giveaway time. This is Arashi Reef, so this one right here. Full note breakdown in case anybody cares. Top, pink currant, lemon zest, passion fruit pulp, tangerine. Mid, papaya blossom, jasmine, orchid, coral reef. Base, vanilla, coconut wood, blonde patchouli, amber, and musk. More than 3 notes. So if you wanna be entered in the giveaway for this, which I'll ship it wherever, leave me a comment down below. Let me know your go-to summer fragrance for this year, whatever it's gonna be, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you know, whatever it was. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post tab of the YouTube channel. If you're the winner, hit me up, I will ship that out to you. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Good luck with the giveaway. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.